see if any moves were made in Carlsen's game.
No, it's thinking.
No, it's thinking. Yeah.
I should point out it's quite possible that Sergei Karyakin will win this game. I would not exclude that at all. Which, if it happens, it would be quite remarkable.
Yeah, then that would.
It is a very, very double-edged position, and White can easily lose this. No doubt about that.
And if you're looking for a cool defender, then Sergei Karyakin is the one you're looking for. So
there was one game, of course, from the World Championship match, which of course Magnus lost, where he lost all sense of danger at a certain moment in the game. He just, even it was hard to understand what he was trying to do. It was as if, that's it. He just completely forgotten he could lose.
Yeah.
And at this moment, he will be so much wanting to win this game. And that is a chance for Sergei Karyakin.
Yeah. So let's look at this briefly. If you start out, so
look, I think it depends on the student. So it's like saying, if you've got a patient, what medicines would you prescribe to them? Well, you have to see, what would suit them.
Yeah. You don't put plaster on a leg if someone has.
Exactly. Doesn't work like that.
Well, sometimes it is suggested that just following the evolution of chess by starting with studying the open games is a good idea.
What are the open games? I never understood that expression.
Okay, let's say e4, e5 openings.
Right, okay, that I understand. Why is that open? Because lots of e4, e5 openings are closed.
Yes.
It's a bit
now we're digressing.
Idiotic expression. But
do you see any sense in that, to follow the, historical development of the game and start with those openings?
Yeah, I think there's a lot to be said for looking at the... always look at Morphy. Morphy's good.
To start with.
Yeah. Those are great games, and you can learn some of the principles of chess. Studying those. So those are things I would recommend, and in fact, just learning some classical games. Look at some Capablanca, look at some Aliekin, look at some.
Nothing wrong with that.
Henry Bird. That was a joke, by the way. Not recommended.
Definitely not all of his games.
Yeah.
Yeah. So here's a question from John Upper.
Yep.
Who says, do either of you know of any GMs who learned the moves after the age of 10 or 12? It seems to me that a dirty little secret of chess, or the chess publishing world, is that nobody, no matter how much they study 10 hours of chess, gets to be Grandmaster strength unless they start before the age of 10. He thinks that Blackburn claimed he started at the age of 18, but that would make him such an extreme outlier that I don't believe it. Well, maybe in those days it could be done.
Right.
Didn't Staunton start quite late?
I think some of these guys started quite late. Yeah, it's possible.
But Winnick, wasn't he 12 or something? Didn't he start ridiculously long?
Well, Botvinnik, he beat Capablanca in that very nice game in that Simmel when he was, how old was he? 14 or 15? I've forgotten. Maybe 15, maybe 15.
Yeah, 14 or 15, 1935.
Yeah, it was a very nice game actually. Played a really good game there.
Yeah.
Okay, I've got a proper engine on this MVL game, Kramnik, and it's saying it's plus 8.74.
That sounds
promising.
Promising for white.
That's
wow.
Yeah. And that's just that's rising. It is. Yeah, that's on depth 35, which obviously these guys can calculate to.
Maxime can.
35 ply. Rook F5 is a good move here.
That's what.
That is interesting.
Well, which would mean that Maxime Vachier-Lagrave in round 8 would score his first win.
Yeah, that's rising all the time. By the way, that Rook F5, it's gone over.
It makes a lot of
+9. It's
plus.
Yeah. So what's the idea? The idea of this is you check from behind. So should this pawn advance, it can be picked up.
Yep.
Very simply with this check. So Rook F5. If this move comes with G6, you play Rook F7, and you probably play A7, H3, and you go Rook B8, and you're taking him from behind. Again, is that right? Oh, it's not that clear. Oh, now we can take this one. So that's a comfortable win. Yeah. If you get to do something like this. He's played Rook F5. So MVL
he's
obviously he's
closing in for the kill.
He's on 36 ply here, I would say.
Yeah. So what's the highest number?
That's a good move. It's a very good move. I must say it is a human move. You know.
Yeah, there's logic behind it.
Yeah, there is clear logic. I might even stumble across it myself on a good day.
Look, apparently some things are happening here.
The point is to force the king onto a bad square. So if the king comes here, you go rook to this square, and he's done it.
Yeah, and then the A pawn is
and
going
then rook
run.
A5.
Yeah.
And I should just point out, this is the line, rook here. If you takes H3, A7, H2, A8 equals queen, H1 equals queen, check, skewering, and then you put the king
very nice
somewhere, and that happens to be check, and followed by queen takes queen. So that's a very elegant little tactic.
Yeah. So that almost looks over.
Yeah, and king G8 is just horribly passive. That's basically allowing the king. I mean, either way, it's hopeless. And strangely enough, yeah, of course, rook takes H4 also wins here. Which is, in some ways, it's much easier. That's just completely gone. That's to the end. You know, this is a human move. I mean, just, okay, rook A5 wins, but this one is just gone immediately.
Yeah.
That is. You don't need to. It's a two-move variation.
That's what you've done.
Yeah, And this is what I would do in the game. You know, this is because you are absolutely certain that you are winning if you play that. You don't need to calculate anything other than that King B5 check is winning.
So what should we say? A great game by Maxime, but more or less forced by Kramnik, who...
Very bizarre game. I didn't understand this game at all.
Will definitely be interesting to hear the players' views on this game. And as it looks now, they will soon be ready with this one.
Yeah, I think he's just going to resign here. Don't see any...
Which allows Maxime to leave the bottom place unless Magnus wins as well.
Which is possible.
Which is possible. Well, still thinking, Sergei Karyakin.
So if Karyakin wins, well, So that game ended, by the way. So Vladimir Kramnik resigned. Actually, it's a good question. I don't know. I can't think offhand. It's all, but just when people were talking, the moment Magnus Carlsen became world champion, so many people were saying, they were asking or saying to me, "Isn't Magnus Carlsen the greatest player of all time?" And I thought, no. I mean, you basically don't understand.
It takes some time to become the greatest player.
I mean, he is a brilliant player. I mean, he's won the world championship. He's defended it twice, and you know,
he's got all the potential to
It's something that, you know, we can only dream of, having a career like that. But to claim the moment he became world champion, isn't he the greatest ever? Well, no. And I think a lot of people, they don't understand the ELO system. They saw he had the highest ELO system, highest ELO rating of all time, and therefore, because they don't understand anything about inflation, because they don't understand anything about comparing one generation to another, they just assume that this number is higher and it's as simple as that. Well, it isn't. It's not like that at all. And I mean, just to keep talking, Anatoly Karpov. Did you ever see